Hello, my name is Harold Offeh and I'm an artist. I predominantly work with performance, but I also make work that often emerges from collaborations and periods of research, so that some of the things that I'm presenting are often for photographs, documentation, videos, performances or events. For the Untitled exhibition, I'm going to be presenting two works. The first work is called Covers Playlist, and that was a work that was especially made for the Untitled exhibition, and it's really an extension of an ongoing 10-year project that I've been doing, which is also called Covers, and it's involved me reenacting and reperforming album cover poses by mostly female soul singers or disco singers from the period of the 60s and 70s. So I've been collecting the albums and then I'll re-perform them and hold them as a kind of still for the length of one track from the album. So in the exhibition, you'll see a video of me re-performing these album covers in different parts of a house. And then you'll also see the album covers themselves, the original images. And yeah, that work is kind of been really trying to kind of respond to the idea of how an album cover is another platform for an identity. And I'm also interested in what's at stake in how someone determines to present themselves or to present their music or to present their identity, which is often what an album cover is used to do as a promotional tool. The second work that I'll be presenting is a new work. It's documentation of a big project that I did in 2018. It's called Down at the Twilight Zone and was commissioned by the curator Karen Alexander for an exhibition called We All Have Stories, which was part of the Toronto Nuit Blanche Festival in 2018. And that work emerged from out of a long period of research and several visits to Toronto. But essentially it's a kind of restaging of a club night called the Twilight Zone that happened in Toronto in the early 80s. But I use it as a way of marking queer histories of the nighttime in Toronto. So I also worked with the Archives, which is the Canadian queer archive. I worked with contemporary DJs, activists, and really what you get over the 12 hours of this club night are different contributions that speak to these different moments in history and time. So it's part pleasure dancing, but it's also speaking to some of the traumas and the battle for rights that has happened over that period. And in the exhibition, you'll see a film which is documenting that night that happened. And also you'll see some contextual material of posters that again speak to those complex histories. I think sort of key themes really for me that maybe link in with the Untitled show. I guess I'm really interested in histories and connecting histories that are often forgotten or deemed slight. And I think for me it's really important to bring them into the contemporary experience. So primarily for me that's done through experiences. So whether that's me re-performing a historical album cover or whether that's recreating a historical club night, I think it's about bringing the present and the past kind of together into a shared space. So in thinking about what are the issues that are most pressing within my work right now, I mean, I guess again, it's really thinking about kind of narratives and histories. I think so much of the way the world is shaped is through people's understanding of the world, through their lived experience. There's a kind of very heavy skepticism for evidence-based research, and often people are relying on this idea of personal feeling. And so narrative becomes quite important in terms of making connections with people. And I think for me, that connectedness to kind of historical narratives, whether that's with decolonizing projects that aim to bring out suppressed histories, I think that act of actually telling forgotten histories or ignored histories is a really kind of key aspect of the contemporary experience.